crazy that they didn't have a math teacher, but somehow they were giving math examination. What was the school thinking? Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Vanessa Emadi, your host on Brazen Exchange. And today I have a special guest with me, a very lovely friend, my one time colleague. Her name is Goodness James, and she's the founder of Project 29, which is why we are here today. Hi, Goodness.
Hi, Vanessa. It's really nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you here. Okay, Goodness reached out. I was like, Vanessa, your podcast, are we going to do anything this year? And then I thought to myself, like, okay, like for real, I needed to have you on here and again to talk about the project that is ongoing with you. So, how is that going so far?
Okay, so Project 29, it's about teaching children how to be critical thinkers and problem solvers. So we discovered that most children don't like the subject maths. Like you agree with me that maths was like one of our least favorite subject growing up, and everybody don't like maths, but maths is a universal language. It's something that we use day to day. You go out now to get something, you have to calculate your change like that. So we discovered that most children don't like maths, and with maths you are able to become a critical thinker, you're able to become a problem solver, and with maths you can do lots of amazing things. So we discovered that children don't like maths, and we're like, okay, why don't we design a program tailored to their specific needs? So we came up with Project 29 after school maths program, where we get to teach children after school hours using mathematics, but not in your traditional way. We are trying to use games to teach children maths, because when children see that, oh, I can do this with this game, I can do that with that game, they become more interested in doing it. So that's like the whole idea of Project 29.
Thank you for sharing that. So when you say you use games, I was I was going to ask because I read somewhere where you mentioned that Project 29 is all about making learning fun for children. And since your major approach now or your major focus right now is mathematics, how is that working and what ways are you using games to make math fun for children?
Okay, so we're currently using a card game where we pair the children into groups and then give them different questions that are not so difficult. Questions that you can just, work with your team immediately. And the whole idea of working with your team creates a special bond that you're like, oh, okay, I can do this. So try as much as possible to use those kind of games to like teach them math. So we have one of the games we created last section, though we're still trying to develop that game. We had different equations on different cardboard papers, and then it goes around the group. And the first person to solve the game, to solve their equation, wins the game. So now they're not just playing games, they are working as a team. So we're introducing like teamwork. They're working as a team. They are thinking critically. Okay, how can I solve this? If I can't solve this problem, I can lean on my neighbor, and my neighbor can help solve that problem. So that's like the whole idea. We also had a part where we did a presentation for maths. So now making it fun, pairing them into group, giving them questions that they solve, and then they come and present it to us. And they're like, oh, this is what I did, this is how I did it. And then their teacher now say, okay, this is not how you should do it, and this is how you should do it. So basically games, and those games are something that we're trying to, develop, because you agree with me, you don't see so much of mathematical games nowadays. So we're just trying to like, develop that to be better.
So when you say games, I understand that children love games. That's one of the best ways to get them. But now there's a child who comes to your after school math club and he doesn't know math at all. How do you encourage such child to start learning and loving mathematics?
Okay, so one of our success story that we shared in our annual report, we highlighted a story of Dobati. So when we started the maths program, Dobati was one brave student that walked up to his teacher and said, "Oh, Uncle Ola, I don't know maths and I don't want to be dropped out of this class," because we gave them a rule. If you miss class 3 times, I'm sorry, you're out. So with that rule, They're like, no, I'm not going to miss math class. I'm going to be in math class. So the person didn't know math, and he went to Uncle Ola, like, oh, Uncle Ola, I don't know math, so, and I want to know math. But I made sure that Uncle Ola taught each of them. Like, we had something called the peer-to-peer review. So when he teaches them, he pairs them in group, and their group members like sit down together and then review what they have done. Also, we have a one-on-one mentorship where Uncle Ola sits down after giving them his math question. He sits down one-on-one with them. That's something that you don't see in public schools. So Uncle Ola sit down one-on-one with them and say, okay, explain to me how you solve this question. We currently have 44 students. Yeah, 44 students in our class. Uncle Ola take time to say, oh, sit down with them and say, okay, explain to me how you got this math question. How did you solve it? And they sit down with Uncle Ola and they start saying, oh, this is how we did it, this is how we did it. And he then corrects them. So now they have the part where their classmates will correct them, and they have the part where Uncle Ola will sit down with them and make sure that, oh, this thing that you have written, okay, it is correct, but you can do it this way. And then he explains to them again. So that's one thing that is different about our math class. We don't just teach them and say, oh, we're teaching you to cram math formula. No, we're not teaching you to cram math formula. We're teaching you to know math, to know the steps that you can use to get an equation. Not that, oh, you cram this, and no, we want you to know it. So that's something that is quite different, and that's something that made most students like Dobati know math. So one thing we also do every Thursdays, our every bi-weekly Thursdays, our games day. We play games and then we sit down and speak. Okay, how do you review Uncle Ola's teaching? Is Uncle Ola doing well? Do you think he can do, what can he do to improve his teaching? And then they speak. All of them will sit down that day. That day just specifically for feedback. They will all speak and then Uncle Ola will take feedback and management will take feedback as well. And okay, Uncle Ola, we should do this, we should do that. Now, we started with our pre before we started our classes. So that pre-evaluation we did informed us on what they are lacking on. So we have now designed, we tailored a curriculum based on where they were lacking, but still something that they would do during that term. And one funny thing is that during this section, they did not have math teacher. Like there was no provision, like they didn't have any math teacher. So it was Project 29's math teacher that was, helping them to do all these things. So when we were closing for last term, we had our feedback session as well. I was like, okay, you know what? We're going to rate our level, our math level today. And we're like, okay, everybody come. Tell me, where were you? Where do you think you were at when we started, and where do you think you are now? And Dubati was one of the people that was at like the 0 point. And I was like, oh, I was on a zero and now I'm on a five. And the uncle said, no, Dubati has moved from a zero to about a seven. And this is something that I can confirm that is true, because when I go to their classes, I also make sure that I check their books and say, okay, why are you not passing this? What's wrong? Then they give their feedbacks, and then we know how to design the program better to fit their specific needs. So Dobasi went from not knowing maths to getting 10 over 10 in his classwork. So you can say assignment now he'll go and copy, but no, he was classwork, most of his classwork. Dobasi went from not knowing maths to teaching his colleagues maths. He went from not knowing maths to being one of the top students in his class, one of the top five students in his class. So that's how we just try as much as possible to say, okay, one-on-one pairing, one-on-one mentoring section will do the job, and it's actually working.
Let me give you a round of applause for Dubasi.
Thank
That's,
you.
that, that's a real success story. Now, you were talking about how in his original school, there was no math teacher. So is that like a public school, or what kind of, where do you get these children from?
Okay, so something I didn't make mention of was, okay, this program is targeted at public school students, because in a private school they're paying school fees, so they would have like their math teacher. But this is a public school, people don't really care about them so much. So our program is targeted at the public school, and our first pilot program started at senior secondary school Madela in Niger State, a 45 minutes drive from Abuja. So yeah, so the our program is targeted for children in public schools in Niger State.
You also mentioned how you have about 54 students in your class. So my
Yeah.
question is, how were you able to convince parents to allow children attend the after school math club? And also the children, how did you convince them to come and learn math? Because I don't wait, I finished school and then you now want me to come and attend another after school session. I don't know how you convinced me to do that.
It starts with the children, right? So when we designed the program, children like, oh, I did well, and then you say, oh, take this for doing well. So we attached a reward system to our program. So when we did our first quiz, we gave out the winners of the quiz. We gave out math sets to about 12 of those students. And the next time we did another program, we gave out four figure tables to about 12 or 13 or 14 of them. So we try as much as possible to add a reward system. Now, another reward, the grand reward system is that after Project 29 completes his project, we're going to pay for a child's jam fee. And the criteria to that is that that child must be consistent, that child must know maths and love maths, that child must be willing to say, oh, when they're asking questions in class, and say, oh, I want to answer that question. That child must be involved. Let me even tell you something. Let me just move, like, digress a little, right? There was a time that I went to the school, and this child, because their school is morning and afternoon, and he's in the morning section. Do you know this child did not come to school throughout that day? But when it was time for the after school math club, David, I saw David walking inside the class. I'm like, David, you didn't come to school in the morning. He was like, no, but you're coming for the aftermath club. And he was like, yeah, yes. So that's how we try to do it. We attach a reward system. Now, for the parents, we didn't really do much on that aspect, right? We just spoke to the school principal. He was in on it. The children were in on it. They told their parents, and their parents were just, it just felt like, as a believer, it was just like God's divine connection. They didn't even feel anything towards it. Now, there was a time where we had to stay more than the time we were supposed to stay. And most of them went home. And when I asked them the next day for their feedback, that, oh, hope your parents weren't angry. And then some of them like, our parents weren't so happy, but we told them that, we're learning math, so it is math that we're learning, that's why we're here. And the parents like, okay, since it's math, it's a good thing to, to engage in. So we didn't really have so much issues with the parents. The children were interested in joining the classes, they're excited to join. Even when we're not, maybe we delay, their teacher delays a little because their teacher has to come from another town to their own community. They still wait. You still see them waiting for their teacher.
Thank you, goodness. So how long does the program run, like per day? How many hours is allocated to this program?
Okay, it's per week. It's 3 days, 1 hour each day, because they finish from their classes. Their brain would want their brain don't want to like overstretch their brain. So three times a week and 1 hour per day. But for months we run it for 3 months every section.
And if I remember clearly, your target are the terminal students, the ones in SS3, right? Or
SS2,
okay.
now SS2, because we're trying to like prepare them for their exams. They should know that, oh, without any expo or anything, I can be able to solve maths.
Okay. Great, great one. How has this initiative impacted the lives of the students in general?
We have Abdul Rashid that couldn't, go to the front of the class to speak to his classmates. He now goes there to present, make presentation. It has really improved their confidence level. Even for the girls that were always so shy to, speak about anything. Now they're always at the forefront of doing these things. Their academics have improved greatly. They now know how to work as a team, united. They're always happy to learn math. So that's one impact. The other day I went to their school and they're like, oh, auntie, we've seen our results. We really did well in math. Their math teacher, their new math teacher could even confirm to the fact that, oh, that even if they didn't have math teacher like throughout the section, that during their exams they really did well. So that's like the impact we have seen so far in the program.
Thank you so much for that. I just wanted to point out something. Isn't it crazy that they didn't have a math teacher, but somehow they were giving math examination? what was the school thinking? How did they expect them to come up with math answers? Well, thank God for Project 29.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are there any challenges that you've encountered since the inception of Project 29?
At the start of our program, we wanted to, have like the feeding system because these guys are going to wait after school. But because of the economic situation in Nigeria, we had to like, adjust that a level at some point. So one major problem I would say is funding. Project 29 is currently being funded from my pocket and from pockets of my friends from donations. The last time we wanted to, give out gifts, it was donated by one of my friends, with James. The other time from different friends like that. So funding is like one major problem that we currently have, or currently experiencing in Project 29. So we want money, we're looking for money. Apart from money, resources, gift items that we give to these children, because we don't want it to just be basic math sets and all of this at every point. At least we want to give them, textbooks, innovative mathematical tools to help them love math more. So yeah, funding is an issue, and we are actively looking for money. So apart from that, if we've not had any major setback. Children are excited to be in the class. Their principal is always excited to see Project 29. Just the other day, we were able to pay for a child's WAEC fee. She lost her parents. She's an orphan, and we are able to give her money to pay for her WAEC fee because she had nowhere to go.
When you are trying to push a cause, you need supporters, you need allies, and in order for you to achieve these things that you want to achieve, you need serious bank rolling in, and sometimes that's a major problem for most NGOs. Many of them are self-funded. Many of them are looking for assistance, and they can hardly get it. But with the right advertisement, with the right PR, with the right just um,
Things like everything, like platform.
with the right platform, just being in the right space at the right time, you can meet the people who connect to what you do and are able to fund that. Have you ever considered international grants or things like that?
We are currently in the process of registering the foundation. So after registering the foundation, we would now start putting out, applications for grants. So after that, we would actively seek for money from, everywhere possible legally. Yeah, I have to put the
Good,
legally.
good to know. Good to know. So, finally, what are your future plans for Project 29?
Okay, so our future plans for Project 29 is to um do this program in more schools in Niger State. We don't just want to do it in a particular school. Everybody should feel that, oh, Project 29 came to the state. We want to, do this in several schools. Also, we want to go as to the state level where we have part of our curriculum on the state level where we say, oh, this is what we have done, and we believe that it can be implemented throughout the state. Also, in order to make it more sustainable, we want to also have like a training for their math teacher where we tell them and show them what has worked, and then they can now use it for other schools, because we might not be able to go through all the schools in Niger State, right? But the teachers are there. The teachers can always step down this knowledge to the children. The teachers can always, you know, change their curriculum. See, there's one thing I tell people, right? You can use storytelling in every aspect of life, even in mathematics. You can use story. You can say, oh, okay, you went to this place to buy something. The way they taught us how to count our fingers when we were coming up, they say, oh yeah, remove 2 from 5. And after you have finished primary school or nursery school, they just take it away, thinking that no. But you can use storytelling in all of this. You can tell stories, and these children will be so interested in it. Apart from the games, there's also the use of storytelling. So this is something that we want to do. Step down the training to step down what we have done, and it has worked. Step it down to teachers, and then they're able to carry it out in their own schools, because we might not be able to go through all the whole schools in Niger State. So that's one of our plan. I also plan on adding more programs to the initiative. maybe later in the year we're planning on doing something around the female menstrual hygiene, and would another plan is to collaborate, partner with different organization, make it a more structured organization, having different people join us this year. So that's our future plan. And above all, the goal is the plan, the goal, everything is to make impact, and that's what we're looking at. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are you also looking to expand the subjects that you teach? Because right now your focus is mathematics. So I'm sure since your targets for now are the terminal students, there are science subjects, there are art subjects, there are commercial subjects that these students rely on, especially when they're going to the next level, tertiary education. So are there subjects you're looking to expand on anytime soon?
When you said this question, I was smiling because somebody had sent me a message yesterday. I was like, baby, goodness, I see the work you're doing in the north. It's lovely. Are you planning on including English very soon? I'm like, when we have funding, sure, we might think about, including a major subject into the program. We might have the after school English school club, but it just all depends on what we're looking at, what the board of directors would agree on. And like I said, we're becoming more structured. So I'm not going to be the only one making these decisions anymore. So yeah, but it all depends. And it's something that would, look at, because English is also a universal language as well. So might just, pick major topics and, add them to the program.
And
Yeah.
what about the out of school children? Is there any plan towards them, or we are just sticking to in school children?
Vanessa, out of school children I don't know. I feel like they're my favorite kind of guys, but it's something that would also look at going forward. Yeah, out of school children, but we might look at that from the early child, like their early years. So we're able to, like, because they are out of school children, so we have to, like, go to the foundation and teach them at their level. So we're not just, creating a curriculum, we're going to be teaching them at their level. So that's something that would add to it as well going forward, to meet out of school children. Yeah, that's something that I would look forward to.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking with you. Since we are looking for funding and your project is heavily reliant on funding, especially these future plans that you have, can you share your donation accounts or your donation details so that our audience can do something magical for you and help the lives of these children? Please go ahead.
Okay. So you can follow us on Project 29 Foundation on Instagram and Project 29 Foundation on LinkedIn. Vanessa is going to post our account number on the screen because I really don't know it right now. But Vanessa is going to put the account number on the screen. Thank you so much. A little as 1,000 naira can impact the life of a child. A little as 1,000 naira can go far to, because the teacher is being paid, right? So yeah, so little as 1,000, little as 2,000, little as anything, gift items, textbooks that you're not using, you can actually donate to us and we'll accept them. But for now, you can follow us on social media platforms, see the amazing work we're doing. Our annual report is on our page. You can see what we have done, different success stories, and you know that we're not just using your money, but we're using your money to impact the lives of these children. We are currently in the process of developing our website. Our website should be out or should be live sometime in February. Thank you.
Okay, okay, that works. That works. Thank you once again for being here. I really appreciate your time. I also
Thank
enjoyed
you,
learning
Vanessa,
about
for having me.
Project
It's really a
29.
privilege, speak about the things that we're currently doing in Project 29.
Yes, yes. I enjoyed learning about Project 29 and I look forward to also working with you. I sent a message saying I would love to volunteer whenever I'm in Abuja and I look forward to doing that. But for now, I
Look
think it's
forward
not.
to you and your expertise on our team. Look forward.
Yeah, so and even the storytelling you mentioned, maybe we can work together to see how we can make that possible to step down mathematics for these children. Yeah, I look forward to doing that with you. Thank you once again, Goodness, for being here. It was lovely
Thank you
chatting
so
with
much,
you.
Vanessa.
I'm your host, Vanessa Emadi. Till next time on Brazen Exchange, goodbye.